patience. Excuse my language, these furus have got me nauseated. While they continue hating, their ignorance is blatant. We keep setting record highs cause we ain't fucking playing. I could name names, but they'll remain nameless. Why give shine to a bunch of dudes that made arrangements to boost views and followers through their paid engagement? 200,000 fans with 5 likes, they're fake famous. You think you sound smart? We're fucking sick of you. Keep on using big words, pretending that you're critical. Pay attention and be careful what they feeding you. Fake gurus keep feeding you shit on social media. You know you telling lies, but you still do it. Afraid to go against the grain because you'll lose influence. The truth is, all you care about is views, and while you're YouTubing, your viewers will listen cause they're too stupid. And the ones who made you, expecting you to stay true and do what's in their best interest cause they join your paid group. They do whatever you say just to make gains, but it's too big a risk to pick up pennies from the freight trains. We ain't gonna listen, so fuck your kook opinion. A bunch of villains getting murdered from the old dominion. I told you motherfuckers pay attention, we was winning, but now your time is up. For me, this is just the beginning. And now my only mission, to break the algorithm and take control and show the rest of crypto what they're missing. Already made my riches, so now the rest should listen. Sit down, bitches, it's time to review your definition. You missed the boat, you shit the bed. You fucking retarded comparing Hex to Big Connect. Didn't do your homework and now you're awestruck. One was vaporware, but Hex is a finished product. Stop it, drop it, just admit that you flop, bitch. Freddie Coach is back on my, shut him down, open up shop shit. Don't give a fuck about your feelings if you got hit. I'm going all in, I'm thinking you should go to Nomics. Why don't you step down, make way for the new kids? We on the block, Richard Hawks on some new shit. Bought my mom a new car, you riding in your mom's whip. $1 million crib, I can show you how to floss, bitch. Before I even started, already knew we won. You get the unfiltered truth cause I don't need to front. Subscribe below because I need to buy food for my son. I don't need to rap, bitch, I do this for fun. We be setting record highs, you gon' run and hide. Promoting lies, completely miss the magic carpet ride. Mad that you broke and we all got rich. I done cashed out mega millions, jackpot, bitch. We follow Richard to the promised land. You still follow promise coins, buying earmuffs to block out all the noise. Pulse about to blow, you should sit tight. Only Richard, you likes getting crammed down your windpipe. Never been hacked, never down for a second. No matter how hard these furu clowns try to affect it. Never have to question if I said it, just respect it. We're effective, Hex is here to stay, I think you get the message. And CMC can gatekeep, we don't give a fuck. And goes to Hex hating bitch, they can lick our nuts. And to the rest of these bitch hoes that tiptoe, I'ma continue to rip throats. Freddie Quotes, the best rapper in crypto.
Howdy out there, YouTube. How you going out there? Everyone on YouTube, and welcome back to the Hex Late Show. How are we all today? Hope you're all doing wonderful wherever you are out in the world. That was a fabulous Freddie Quotes there at the start with the Furu's eulogy. Day 43. What a cracker of a song. Don't you love it? Hey?
Can't get enough, mate. Cannot get enough.
No, mate,
I love it. What's happening, uNrekt? What is going on, mate?
Hey, what's happening? It's all happening. I'm in my little hoochie here tonight, and I'm streaming from a secret hideaway location in the outback.
Right.
In the wild, from where the wild things are.
Hey? I bet. You're going to have to tell us about what wild things you've come across.
Oh, geez, I had some really good stories lined up for you, actually. And the little ideas were just blossoming in my mind as ideas, and that's where they unfortunately perished.
I love it, mate. Hey,
I was like, I've got to write that down. But yeah, no, it's been a good week, mate. I've been sort of kicking around and just keeping an eye on things. Today's been sort of full on. I haven't been tuned in with the obviously trying to keep up to speed with the Pulsechain Testnet.
There's a lot going on, man. I mean, the testnet, look. I'm not sure whoever's listening, g'day to the people in the chat.
Yes. But
if you haven't had a go of the testnet, you need to jump on and have a go. It is so quick. It's so fast. It's amazing. There's a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, haven't we?
We've got great things to talk about in Hex, and there's always something we can
Hex,
learn
Pulse,
from. And all that stuff. I'm trying to keep up to speed with it. And I'm glad that I've got you guys, all the guys. Have we got anyone?
Yeah, we've got Jexxa here. How you going, Jexxa?
Hey, gang, how are you?
How are you, mate? We got Sammy Chica.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Sammy.
Hello,
There you go. Awesome.
And we have Bloobum as well. How you going, Bloobum?
Top stuff.
Hey,
guys.
everyone.
Good to see you. Oh, that's good. Well, that's good. We're going to have a nice little chat then about Hex and Pulse and how wonderful it is and how it's the best performing asset in the world.
Still.
In the world, still. And 100% uptime, triple security audited. It is the best. If you haven't heard of it, if you're just tuning in for the first time and you're not aware of what we're talking about, just keep it simple. Get on to hex.com and have a look. Spend a bit of time reading through the information that's on there. It's all there laid out really easily, and the process is not that difficult. You can sort of make it hard for yourself if you sort of like take it down on a certain tangent, but we just like to keep things simple here. But we do delve into a little bit of the technical stuff as well. But it's sometimes we also go into sort of like ad hoc conversations and just have a bit of fun with what we're talking about.
It can get a little bit random at times, can't it? And we don't have a set script.
Sometimes we have an agenda. If we're so busy all the time, we have a set agenda, like 5 or 6 dot points that we try to run through the notes. But I am so far behind on what's going on because there's so much happening. I'm relying on the expertise of everyone here and creating things.
I think the Hex Late Show is a little bit like the long and winding road. That's what I think it's like.
It's all a journey.
It's a journey. We just crap on for a bit. But hey, look, we generally get like a few views. So obviously what we're saying is not total and utter crap. It must resonate with some of the people out there. But hey, Jexxa, have you had a chance to jump on the testnet? Because I was on there earlier this week and I could not believe how amazing it was. It was just so quick and it just worked. And I can't wait. I'll tell you what I can't wait for. Once like some front ends start popping up for the contracts that are on there. Once people start, I actually can't wait for them to get the Pulse version of Etherscan up and running, where you can do contract calls and all that sort of thing. Once you can connect your wallet on and do all that stuff, that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I went away for a week and so much happened in that week. So I wasn't really jumping online much. I'd check the phone every now and then, but man, you've got to keep on top of things in Hex because it just moves so quickly. There's so much happening. So yeah, while I was away, that's when the testnet got launched. So it was only really yesterday that I had a chance to play around a little bit on that. And yeah, very, very easy to connect to. Obviously went to GitLab just to get the instructions. Quickly plugged in all the network settings into MetaMask and boom, you're on. Went to the faucet and sent a quick request to get some free Pulse and boom, that was there in less than 5 seconds. So yeah, really, really quick at the moment. Obviously fees are just so cheap. I mean, in comparison to what we've been paying on Ethereum, these are a drop in the ocean, and even in comparison to what's going on Binance Smart Chain, Pulse is extremely, extremely cheap. Now, obviously, that we've got to see how that plays out over time, and as the network gets busier, then you will see fees increase, but they are going to be an absolute fraction of what they are on Binance Smart Chain for a while to come, I believe. But yeah, good. And I've done a quick send just from one wallet to another, and yeah, all working as it should, which is, yeah, it was uneventful, which was nice.
Yeah. Sammy, Bloobum, any of you guys had a chance to jump on and play around?
Yeah, I have. And Ty sent me some AMP, Ample Fourth, and some Hex, and I've been going in every day and getting my free test polls. And sometimes if you hit the button, you can get more than one or two. But they might have fixed it now because I haven't got a few in a couple of days. But yeah, I've been going hard at it. Just waiting to see anything.
Are you going to be a test pulse whale?
I wish. No, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's nice to just see it working so flawlessly. Like Day 43 said, still pretty basic at the moment because all the front ends need to get built out, but the block explorer is there and you can go view the blocks and see those chugging through every 3 seconds. And yeah, like I said, once we start getting a few of the front ends built up so you can interact with all the contracts that have been copied across, then yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
Well, that's exciting. Louis, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I jumped on. I got a few tests and stuff like that. I didn't send any around though. I haven't really been delving into it too much, to be honest. I kind of figure it's got a while to go before I need to jump on it. What really impressed me?
No need to rush, is there? But people are getting in. Obviously, you want to learn as you go. Hey,
that again?
I was just saying, like, there's no rush to like go on there and use the test. They were trying to do a system the other day or something to try and test the capacity or try to max out the chain or however you term it. But yeah, like Jexxa says, looks like it's all running tickety boo so far, so good in test mode. So yeah, when it's going to be exciting when the fork actually happens, I can see there's a fair bit of excitement moving up. Maybe there was there's a couple of questions in the chat. Day 43 about the log-based 2 sibling theory.
What I was going to say was that what really impressed me was that like a lot of the
is that just me? Is that me glitching or is?
No, I couldn't hear that. Could you just repeat that again, Bloobum? Because you just laid down a little bit there.
Yeah. So the reason that Richard forked Ethereum was because of the fees, obviously, for hexagons, and specifically the stake fees, the S-load. And I've got a feeling that making a stake is going to be the same cost as ending a stake. Like, even though there is that extra calculations that have to happen, it sounds to me like he's going to make it super cheap to end stakes as well. So it's really just negligible, like that starting a stake. And it's literally going to be, if someone wants to put $20 on it, they're going to be able to do it.
Well, I actually went back and had a look at some of the start stakes I've done on Hex, and I'm pretty sure I was paying, it was either 1 cent or 10 cents. It was tiny, the amount I was paying.
1 cent.
Start stake.
10,000 Hex. 10,000 Hex was $20, Louis, back in the day. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So end stake, hey, that's where.
Yeah.
So
obviously that's always going to cost more because it's just a computation thing. So it will never be as cheap as a start stake, but it's going to be very, very cheap on the PulseChain for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be equally as negligible though, from the sounds of it. Anyway,
it's obviously it'll be multiples greater, but we're talking multiples of fractions of a cent. It doesn't really matter.
Hey guys, did you that song that Bluey sang, the Italian song we did a little.
I missed that
on Saturday stream. It right at the end. Go and have a look at Bluey singing Italian. It is gold. Religion, mate. That was so good.
Check it out. That's actually a very attractive feature on the Pulse network. You know, for anyone trading, why wouldn't you go over to Pulse if it was there to make some money with nearly zero fees? I mean, it's just amazing, and it's so fast.
I know. It's like $50 to train. It was $50 a day to do a Uniswap transfer today. It's like,
hey, talking about speculation. One of you guys popped into our chat a segment out of the PulseChain chat where a guy came on who happens to be a friend of Richard Hart's, who he's also a developer on another chain, and he was talking about other people in the crypto world who have who are getting ready for PulseChain, and he couldn't tell who the people were, because it's up to them if they want to, release that information. But I figure it's fair game for us to speculate on it. And the one hint he gave was that these people have no other competition in the crypto space. They pretty much own that part of the crypto space.
And I put my comment in there, didn't I? Did you see my comment?
I didn't see that.
Tornado Cash. That's going to be Tornado Cash.
Nah.
No.
So what?
Who else is like?
Maybe.
Who else would be like? Who else
is
there apart from Tornado Cash?
Yeah, you say yours, Bluey. Who did you think, Bluey?
Well, let's have. Well, my only guess.
I'll tell you.
My only guess is MetaMask.
Hang on. But
MetaMask pretty much have called the market on. It's a guess. I have no idea.
But what? And this is going to sound stupid.
MetaMask
but
it already works with it.
That's right. Yeah. So they don't have to do anything.
They have something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's possible.
A coin.
Bluey, have you got a VPN or anything running? Because everyone's having a whinge in chat about your internet connection.
Yeah, I do. Okay, it's my VPN.
The daylight savings is throwing us off.
Use a Los Angeles VPN.
Don't know. Not sure, mate. It's
Shall I
hard to hear.
At the moment.
You're a bit patchy, mate. That's all.
Really?
It's probably more your internet connection. It would be your internet connection, not your VPN.
Lagging a lot, Bluey. Lagging a lot, mate.
You might have to
upstream, downstream.
just switch off your video for a little bit while you sort it out, mate.
Yeah, turn off your video. Yeah, just go vocal.
Cool.
Audio.
So my thoughts were someone that is a little bit more heavily integrated into the space, and I was thinking maybe a chain link sort of scenario.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Then they would definitely be ready for it because that's their whole business.
That would be very nice.
If you try and think anyone else that owns a segment of crypto that no one else touches, I don't think there's anyone really doing what Chainlink's doing at the moment. There's obviously the smaller guys doing that.
Yeah, we had those guys. Penciled in really early, Jexxa, because that's their model is to be the interoperability, the chain link between the chains.
Yeah, so you're right.
Jump on
that was one of the first things we spoke about in our private chat, wasn't it? Who would come across and would it be in their interest to come and support Pulse? And my theory was if Link don't come across and do what they're doing on Ethereum, someone else will.
Exactly.
So either they get their shit together and they come and play in the Pulse chain, or they'll lose that opportunity. Yeah. Someone will take that segment.
Yeah.
So look, this is all total speculation. I don't know who the guy was.
Why not? But that
what he
makes
was
sense.
talking about, But I guess the takeaway is that there is teams out there. They know what's going on. They're teams that are big in the crypto space that are coming to play on Pulse. So that's pretty cool.
I just wanted to say
they'd heavily invested personally in it as well.
Yeah. Well, no, he outright said that they had. So the comment was something I'll paraphrase. My developer friends have gone in heavy, so have I, and the teams that were building have gone in heavy as well, or something along those lines. No, don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
I'm also in a private group, a Pulsechain group, or Pulsechain Hex, and there's also talk of a stable coin and a lending platform coming as well.
Yep.
Cool.
I think there's a white paper coming out soon, so that's
coming in the chat. Yep.
That's going to be the important thing. That white paper we'll find out some detail, because I know which the project you're talking about, Sammy. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to reading up on that and finding out what they plan. So
what we're seeing happen is now a lot of the guys that were early in on Hex, and even some of the guys that have found Hex later but have the technical know-how, the contacts, and the will to build things. They're gearing up and they're finding things that we can do on PulseChain and launching the projects themselves. So don't be surprised if you see people that you have been used to talking to on Telegram and on Twitter start to launch their own projects. And
will they be shilling?
Everyone's going to have to promote their own projects and things like that. And I think as a community, we've got to look out for people and make sure that the projects that come along are legit. But you don't want to be that guy that stifles everyone just because you're trying to be Big Brother. You've got to let there is shit's going to get built on PulseChain that is no good, that is a scam, that fails, that is going to be part of the growth.
People believe in something that's not going to work out, and that's.
I think there's going to be some good stuff on there. Lots of good stuff on there as well.
Definitely.
We've got a community that believe in a certain in certain values. So I think the community that's building these things, they're going to try and stick to those values and adhere to them. So I think we're going to see a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff.
If you build something and you're promoting it to the Hex community, you're going to be held to a pretty high standard.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep. And we want to make sure that we're open-minded and that we, give things a good opportunity and, study them properly. Not just, like you said, Jexxa, not just, be too quick to dismiss.
Yep. Sorry, you go, uNrekt.
I was just going to say the ones that sort of like, if you're at a first glance, you go through maybe this executive summary or something like that, and something doesn't seem right, or you can't quite piece together what's going on behind the curtain, then I would be just like, that would be like a warning sign to maybe, take a look from a different angle. So stick with it's obviously no brainer. Like Hex, come on, that's the number one. That's got to be the number one digital asset. And then of course, Pulse is going to be equally as good to have as a hold, and you need it for the transactions on Pulse. And from what we're hearing about, the transaction speed, it's going to do everything. We know Richard Hart's track record. We've seen what he's done with Hex, and I think those two are no-brainers. And then there's probably other opportunities there if you're a little bit more sort of like savvy around the like the chain links, and I know the stable coins in and out of those. But again, that's probably not my wheelhouse either. But because I'm just like pretty hardcore Hex only, and Whales only log 2. Yep, all about that. You guys know anything about that? Have you seen the Whales only log 2 algorithm? He's talked about it. Like his first episode, he talks about it. In his very first episode, he talks about that log 2 algorithm. Sorry to tangent off into that. What else? Sammy,
tell us about it, uNrekt.
What's going on, uNrekt?
It's just the correlation between the T-share rate and the T-share price and the market. So it's kind of like a correlation or a lag, which says that, well, we know that longer pays better, and because of that mathematical equation, which is quite an advanced mathematical formula, and the share rate always ratchets up. And what we're going to see in Pulse is, as Louis said before, a lot of those little shorter rolling stakes that sort of like, we noticed that when the fees started going up on Ethereum to do stakes, the staking class started to stake, the behaviors of the staking class changed. So there was less of those sort of short rolling large stakes. But on Pulse, it will become feasible to do that again. And what's that going to do? That's going to drive the share rate up. So the share rate only goes up, and the price we know of the coin is sort of correlated. It's like it's got a little string that's hanging onto the price, and all there's like those ups and downs of the market machinations and everything like that. But look, what do we got? The most transparent crypto in basically the history of cryptocurrency. There's no manipulation. The numbers that you see are getting directly pulled from the blockchain. We've got the best game theory. We've got the like everything, the data, the analysis, all the like stuff that nerds love is there. I mean, if you're into that stuff and you're looking at computer screens and crunching numbers and maths and code, well, this is like your oasis. You found your mecca. I mean, come on, get some Hex, have a look at it, have a go at it. It's the best. It's unreal.
I just want to. The Mango Junkie has put a comment in chat. What do you think? Excuse me. What do you think some of the things to come are? All I know is buy and hold. So I don't even have an imagination for what to expect. And I think, firstly, you're in we've all seen how Hex has performed. We don't see that changing anytime soon. So obviously you got your E-Hex you can hold. You're going to get a duplication of that as P-Hex, which I think is a pretty strong hold as well. Pulse, I don't think you have to do anything clever if you've sacrificed or if you get Pulse after the chain launches. That's a strong buy and hold as well. Like, you don't have to be clever to you're in very early if you're in Pulse now if you've sacrificed, and even in the first few weeks that is prime time to get in on this project. So you don't have to worry about all the other things that are going to launch. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of opportunity, but mate, yeah.
Did you see that 300K? That 300K sacrifice, Jexxa?
Yeah. That was so.
It's like, wow.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how many Pulse points they got for that one, but that's a very late entry, and it's not a small entry.
Do we know how many days it's been? Because we can do a quick calculation.
I think it was 95 days or something, wasn't it?
Ty would know. Ty's in the chat. He knows all about it. I think it was 91 pulse, 91 million pulse. He got
all right.
For his 300.
I'm gonna work out what it is. Did you say 90 days, or should
I'll go back in. I'll go grab
days.
I'll go grab
Say
Ty's
85
comment.
days, right?
I think it was like 5 times worse than at the end of the sacrifice period.
No, it's like 63 times worse as of today.
Oh,
if it's 85 days, because it ratchets up 5% compound.
Yeah, someone
Look
drew
at uNrekt picture. uNrekt Big G's avatar.
So
up and to the right.
So yeah,
I
so
didn't realise we had Chloe as a guest tonight, mate.
Was that Chloe?
So it was 300K sacrifice. That's US, and Ty had in here. He done the calculation. It was 3 billion pulse points.
It was a very risky move. Like it's quite, actually a dumb move, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, I reckon it's crazy.
Well, guys,
fair enough if you want to get into.
Do you know what we need to consider? Like, I think I heard someone say, it might have been Ty himself, that he said that maybe it was money from the what was it? Was it
Compound.
Compound.
If you have that money, I'm like, fair enough if you want to get into the sacrifice set for potential airdrops, although that's just pure hopium. But maybe it's a smopium. But then if you were going to like put that much money in, why wouldn't you just buy Hex? You'll get the Hex Pulse on the end and after the fork, and you'll be able to swap it out for, like, you do way better doing that than just chucking it into the sacrifice now.
So I'm just looking at that wallet, and there is no comp in there. So I'm assuming I'm looking at the right one here. Let me just double check.
So this is a comment. Yeah, the comment from Dean DK. But is it going to be worse than when it's released? no one really knows what the price will be. Richard says leaving the sacrifice open is an Easter egg. I haven't heard Richard actually say that, but he has mentioned.
Yeah, no, he has said it's an Easter egg, but the reason he is not saying keep doing it. He's saying it's there for the dumbasses that inadvertently missed the cutoff date. And
It's
for the
an
people
Easter
that
egg
just
for
don't
everyone
realise.
else.
Yeah, it was just it's just there, and I don't know how you would like filtering it out, and there'd just be a lot of bad blood if what he doesn't want is the pushback where people say, "Oh, I sacrificed and they stole my money." So he's just letting it roll through on the same multiple each day. It's not meant to be used to load the boat on Pulse because there's a better way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they did a little bit of research, they would be able to very, very easily work out that sacrificing about now, you're paying about 60x, like 60x less. You're going to get 60x less than what the people did in the sacrifice in the first 5 days, roughly. So, just remember how people were averse to sacrificing at the very end because they were going to get half as much. They were going to get penalized half of their pulse points for doing it that way. So these, whoever's sacrificing now is getting 60x. So that's obviously a huge penalty.
Okay,
but
so
it does make it more valuable, doesn't it?
So just looking at that wallet, there was 94 ETH sacrificed. So first of all, there was 1 ETH sacrificed as like a little tester, then 94 or close to 95 ETH, then another 2.3 ETH, and then another 0.1 ETH. So that's everything that's gone into the sacrifice. And all of that ETH came from Kraken, Binance. So it was about half a dozen, like 2 or 3 transfers from Binance, a couple from Kraken, a couple of unknowns. So they've basically shifted funds from an exchange via ETH to this wallet address and then sacrificed it. So I don't think it was anything to do with comp, unless it came from somewhere else and they've passed it through an exchange. But I'd have to sort of backtrack a lot more. But I don't even think you could once it's gone through an exchange.
So they had ample fourth was in the wallet.
Yeah, yeah, they've got a few weird and wacky things in there. But
so now that's happened, what do we what's the assessment? Do we say that it's better to wait until the launch so that you can scoop up? Maybe there's going to be an opportunity to scoop up some cheaper pulse when after the
listen, through experience. Sorry, go Jex.
No, you go, Sammy.
I just wanted to say, just because on Ladies DS, after there was a tweet from Richard's Hex Telegram channel, Richard's Calls or Hex News, and Richard put out a tweet saying you can still sacrifice. There is still the 1.05x increase per day. It's going to keep going. So I think that's what they meant by the Easter egg. But on Ladies DS, we said, that you can still sacrifice. And then someone said in the comments, don't sacrifice, it's a terrible rate. And then they came onto our comments and gave it to us saying, don't tell people to sacrifice. It's a really terrible rate. And, so I just wanted to mention that before, as basically saying that some people might get butt hurt.
Okay, so
we're saying it's 60. It's a 60x penalty basically. So we can't be any more straightforward and open than that. If you go on sacrifice now, you're doing it as we like to say in Italian, con sapevole. That's for the Italian crew.
What's that translate to?
That means with knowledge.
With knowledge, okay.
You got the knowledge, mate.
Yeah, buy beware.
Got the remedy.
I noticed there was someone had done a tweet and they were genuinely asking, what is the best way? Like if I wanted to get Pulse now, what is the best way to do it? Should I sacrifice or not? And the way I'm putting it to people that ask me that personally at the moment is if you want Pulse and you want to get in really early, you don't want to wait for the bridges and things like that to be established, then buy Hex Hex is going to get duplicated onto Pulse, swap some of that Pulse Hex for Pulse coin, because I think that will be something that gets up and running very quickly. So
here's a good question, mate.
Yep.
Can we talk about strategies for getting Pulse after launch for noobs? I'm not telling my new onboards to sacrifice. I'm waiting for a good strategy for buying at launch.
So I think that is what I just gave you there. That's one strategy.
Buy Hex.
Buy Hex, you'll get P-Hex, and so have an allocation of your. And this is what I'm saying for guys that come on that are new as well. They want some Hex, but they also want to get a slice of the action on Pulse. So I'm saying, okay, well, whatever you choose to put into Hex, that's fine. Buy that, and you're going to get that duplicated. If you've got, I don't know, 5 or 10 grand that you want to chuck at Pulse, buy 5 or 10 grand worth of Hex. It may go up in value in the meantime. If it does, happy days. When you get that duplicated, use that allocation that you had originally purchased to go and buy your Pulse with. I think that's probably the quickest way you could get Pulse at the earliest point in time.
And I think it's pretty safe that there will be a way to swap. There'll be liquidity and good liquidity and way to swap from Hex to Pulse pretty easily. You know it's going to be supported on that side, so it's the safest bet. It's the safest thing that you could.
You would think the first pair to go up and get major liquidity would be Pulse and Pulse Hex. You would think, and then we'll start getting bridges with E-Hex over on Pulse and things like that.
So get on a magic carpet ride, as they say, isn't it? That's what they say. Because the Hex is the jewel and the crown of the Pulse chain. Really, it's like it's going to get the royal walk across the bridge and the la-di-da, heroes welcome, isn't it? Because I mean, look at it. The Pulse has been built for Hex.
Did any of you guys catch Gary's stream that he done on? They're just talking about what might happen to the price of E-Hex and P-Hex. Did you guys catch that one at all?
I caught the start of it. I didn't.
Yeah, same here. I think I watched about the first 20 minutes or so, and then
there's been a lot of speculation about that. So let's unpack it.
The one thing that they didn't cover, and I don't know whether they ended up getting there in the end, was you look really spooky there, Bluey. The one thing
there is just an absolute. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
So they were talking about, because some people still have it in their brain that they think the players they're going to sell their E-Hex and try and buy P-Hex because that's the one that's going to boom. And so Gary was sort of stepping through how he doesn't think that's going to happen, and I don't think that's going to happen either. I don't think there's any large players that are planning on dumping their E-Hex.
I'll say the same thing as I don't want to see cheap Hex anywhere, as Richard Hunt would say.
Yeah, so neither do I, Reg Pirate.
You don't want to see cheap Hex anywhere. Guys have got big stakes for 15 years. They don't want to see it get crunched. There's a lot of value locked in there.
That's right. You're in.
Yeah, so I think it's only short-minded people that are
that's
short time frame minded people that,
isn't it? Would that be classed as glitching?
As
what?
What?
Yeah, I don't like it.
So So I think I've heard a few people sort of say that they think that's the play, and I don't think that's the play. I think it's a risky play to dump your E-Hex at all. And then you've got, okay, well, when would you, if you were going to do that, when would be the optimum time? And I think if you're trying to pick that, you're going to be in a world of hurt. But the thing I don't think they covered on Gary's stream, and what they were dancing around the edges of, but they never got to, was, okay, well, if you've got the price of E-Hex and the price of P-Hex, what is going to keep them locked together from a price perspective? And they were hinting at, people will put liquidity on there and that will tie the price of them together. But what what never came out, and this is just total speculation, this may never eventuate, but there was 13 billion worth of hex that got sacrificed into the sacrifice address. And that's going to get duplicated to P-Hex as well. Now, what if those funds were set aside for a massive liquidity pool between
No, I said this months ago. This is exactly what I said this months ago. We said this like a month or two ago.
Right.
If they just pile in liquidity on both sides, they'll never move.
That's right, yeah. And I don't think people are seeing that. And I don't know whether Gary eventually got around to talking about that. I'm pretty sure they would have. I'd have to go back and check. But
but first they have to pump it. They have to pump it before then, and then the liquidity.
No, they don't. Because they look up
they
together.
Don't.
Whichever one pumps, they'll go up together.
Okay.
So the ratio of that sets the price of P-Hex is set by one person, the that loads the liquidity pool at the very first time liquidity is put into the pool. So they will set that at a ratio that mimics or that sets it as the same price as E-Hex. Then if you've got
that sounds like a massive opportunity if you're out there and looking at this stuff for the first. That looks like like this is not financial advice, but that looks like a massive opportunity to make a lot of money if you were.
No financial advice, yeah.
You wouldn't. The thing is, you don't want to be putting that liquidity in. You want to be staking your hex. You'll get way more benefit out of staking your hex than adding.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
I'm not saying be a liquidity provider. I'm just saying, what if there was an entity that was in a position to be able to easily do that?
Yeah.
Buy some hex and hold it.
And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if you think of the mechanics through, okay, what would you have to do to make these things start off at the same value and give them the best chance of staying at that same value? This is what I would do if I was in that position.
Well, Bloobum, I agree with you. I think the best bet is just to stake your hex through the hex contract staking, function. But there are going to be people out there who don't want to, come up with a date in advance, and they don't want to. They just don't want to play the game of having.
No, they want to buy tops and sell bottoms. That's why.
Well, they just might want to have access. They might want to provide liquidity and have access to their hex and be able to pull that liquidity when they want, and they're going to have that opportunity to do. They're going to have the opportunity to do that with the E-Hex and the P-Hex. They're going to have an opportunity to do that on Pulse because there's going to be another coin that they've talked about to reward that sort of that behavior. So there's going to be an option for those people. So I think that's going to be bullish for Hex on both sides as well, because those people are going to be getting these liquidity rewards for doing that, and then so that's going to keep them from selling their Hex as well, just by wanting to keep getting those rewards. So it's going to have an extra. Sorry, go on, Sammy.
Sorry, Day 43. I think P-Hex on Pulse will actually, get pushed up quicker because you've got your mums and dads and, people who are living in, I suppose, poorer countries who can afford to stake Hex and get more Hex for their money instead of staking on ETH, right? So I reckon it's going to push the price up. And I've spoken to a few Hexicans that are actually going to sell off their E-Hex for P-Hex.
I think they're making a big mistake.
I agree, Jex. I'm holding to everything. I ain't selling nothing. It hurts me to sell Hex.
Sammy,
I've heard Patrick from Crypto Sparbook talk about that strategy. So that
I don't know if
definitely a strategy I've heard.
But what does he say, Dave?
I think he said that he believes that P-Hex is going to be where it's at, and I don't want. I'm paraphrasing here, but I don't want to misquote him or anything. But the general gist of it was that he thought that the P-Hex was going to be the side, and he was going to go that way. I don't know if he's changed his mind since. He might have changed his mind since.
Wow.
Well, yeah. And look, let me just
hook you up, mate.
I don't know whether Patrick just mentioned that it would dip and would recover, or whether you're saying it was dip and wouldn't recover. So I don't.
Well,
will it dip? Sure, could do.
Yes. Well, I mean, come on, be like the big payday, but like, I think so. I mean, it's just because of that sentiment that we're talking about, the fact that there is parts of the community that's their play. But I'm not going to say I'm a fence sitter, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to value my original stakes the same as I'm going to value my stakes that are on Pulse, and treat them and just look at the I guess the environment or what's going on. I guess my markers that I use to sort of I keep it simple, like to just look at it on any given day and just monitor things just like you're tending a garden, or you're going to water the plants, or however you like to do it. Look at the chart, listen to the streamers, watch all the data analysis websites, and get the information as best you can to make a decision on, whether how much. Or the main thing for me is like hoarding the T-shares. Like I like to keep plus or minus 20% on all my T-shares going forward, particularly now while we haven't entered into the deflationary phase of the T-shares yet, so we're still seeing like pretty flat sort of like that on the daily T-share payout. Eventually that's going to become like a big S-curve. It's a point in time in the future where the deflationary function of the T-share kicks in, and that is going to be amazing to witness. That's going to be like seat of your pants stuff. I'm excited every day at the future of Hex. I think it's and look the Lindy effect, the fact that people are. We're seeing the Hex whale bot huge.
So what are we?
5 like this. What $4 or $5 million stakes? Oh, mate,
pushing it right out to the max. I think we've seen a 15-year stake today, and there was also another one. It was not quite that long, but it was big money, like 4 million getting pushed out.
Yeah,
years
that's
away.
Faith and confidence in the product that is Hex. Amazing. Yep, the number one digital asset in the world. If you haven't heard about it and you're in crypto, you're not doing it right.
Jexxa, do you have something special to show us? Is there...
Yeah, so we're waiting for Gary to come in, are we? We can do that while we're waiting for that.
Oh no, hang on, I've got Gary on now. Just 1 second, let me just bring him up.
Hey, how are you?
Good how are you?
Hey, Gary.
Here he is.
Doing well. I was, I was listening to the past couple of minutes. To catch your stream about speculation on what people will or won't do regarding Hex on Ethereum versus Hex on PulseChain. Can you catch me up on what the consensus is as far as the group, or who's the dissenters about whatever idea?
Yeah, so I don't think there's any dissenters, but I think we're thrashing it out, and I've seen a lot of commentary about people thinking they're going to dump their E-Hex and move across to Pulse. And I've been saying I think that's a mistake. I think you're going to regret that in the end. The Ethereum network's not going anywhere. There's an extreme amount of value locked in the Hex contract on Ethereum. And then we started talking about, okay, well, if we think that there's going to be price parity, what would be the mechanics involved to achieve that? And I think there's a clear case where you can see how with enough paired liquidity on the two Pulse coins, the two Hex tokens in a liquidity pool, you could really bind the price of those together. And on the initial, when the initial liquidity pool is set up for P-Hex, it would more than likely be set at a ratio that puts it at an equal value to E-Hex. That was my thesis. Now, and I did catch a little bit of your chat the other day, but yeah, I didn't get to finish it all. So I don't know where you guys got to on your thoughts around that.
Hey, before we go, before Gary, can I just say, hey, go, mate? And I just wanted to ask you, how was it you got to meet Mr. Hart in person, and I've seen you looking very, very suave, mate, getting around the grounds.
Not right now. I jumped out of the shower to be in your show. So right now, this is the quickest shirt that I had available, and I wanted to catch before your show was over.
Nice. Thanks for coming.
But at the moment, I'm in Dubai. I left Kiev yesterday. I was in Zurich 3 or 4 days ago with Richard, as many people may have seen his stream. And this specific conversation happened both publicly in the 75 or so people that were at the Zurich meeting, and then afterward, Richard invited me to dinner, and I spent another 3 hours with him. So this topic is very unique because it's never happened before, and I think that people are considering to trade based on what their experience in crypto in the past has been, which might be something along the lines of, here comes a fork. The fork I'm going to sell so that I can, through Gresham's law and their understanding or their thoughts of Gresham's law, they think, here's the free thing. And because it's free to me, I'm going to value it very little. But it's not free to other people, and they're willing to buy it from me for something. So the concept in the recent past, of the past few years, of having forks inside of the cryptocurrency space has been that narrative, and it has been that truth. You hear about the rumor and you buy it. You buy it either because you're in an ICO, you get a 40% discount, you know you're going to sell at market price on top of people that are just now learning about that particular product, or maybe a use case for it or something like that. But basically a meme. They're buying into a meme. And that has been what has happened in the past. With the conversation with Richard specifically, I had said, you know, Bitcoin might be the gorilla in the room, the 800-pound gorilla. It might have all of these other challenges about its biology in the jungle, like what can it do and what can it not. And then there's another animal that comes along, and it might be an example of like a giraffe, and has different skills or different abilities, and that might be Ethereum as an analogy. And then there's this third animal, which is what Pulsechain is going to do times 10,000. It's not just that Pulsechain is a network. It's not just that it's an infrastructure and roads. It's not just that it's a fork of Ethereum 1, right? Battle tested, billions and billions, maybe trillions of dollars of transactions have happened on Ethereum. And it's not simply that sort of thing. And it's not even the meme that we've heard for the past 6 or 7 months that you're going to have 10,000 different projects be able to have an airdrop, right? That means 10,000 different communities. Many of us have held different types of coins, and some of us have a pool of 5, 10, 12 things that we believe in or we like, up until basically Hex came on the scene for me. And you say, hey, I like the DAI narrative. I like this Celsius narrative. I like this power ledger thing that's going to monetize the electric grid, whatever it is that you believe in, right? And whatever you swallow, right? And you hold it. Well, all of those represent communities and belief systems and your own personal value of what you hold and what you think other people will pay for it, right? Because you say it's worth something, I'm going to hold it instead of them. That's been what we've talked about until recently. And what I was commenting on with Richard in depth was, with Pulsechain, with the fact that you're getting the other half of an AMM pair for free. It's not that you're getting another coin that you can sell into the marketplace, which many people will, but they will sell into the marketplace, and they give up that opportunity potentially of being the other half of an AMM pair for free. In every other situation on DEX, if you had a lot of Ethereum, or if you had a lot of USDC or whatever, and you wanted to pair it with something else and become a liquidity provider, you run that impairment risk. You will lose money likely because one of the two sides will be valued more, and you're giving up the valuable side for the less valuable side in that ratio trading.
What's AMA? What's AMA pair? Did you say AMM pair? What's that mean? Sorry.
So
Auto market maker.
Yeah. So on the DEXs, when you go and you say you want to trade into get Hex, you might be trading USDC to get Hex or Ethereum to get Hex. Okay. That's a pair, and that pair has been put there by a liquidity provider.
Right.
And Richard, back in 2019 and 18, whenever we started using Uniswap and popularized it,
2020,
he talked to a diatribe about why being a liquidity provider is a significant risk. honestly, I think he was the risk bearer for almost all of that first launch, right?
Well, maybe.
Yep.
Well, we don't know. Could have been Tibetan monks.
It could have been this African priest, but it was somebody, right? I know that I put liquidity in there. I know that Crypto Coffee put liquidity in there because we talked about it on our streams. And I know that at the end of a period of time, when you look at the net value of what you put in versus what the net value you extracted, even at 0.03% liquidity compensation for being an LP, you lost money because one of the better coins traded out of your hands versus one of the lesser valued by communities and meme coins was in your hands.
That is the only reason governance tokens exist.
Right. So
to offset
in that scenario, impairment loss, that's what they're explaining of being an LP. And that's why I think that whoever it was bootstrapped the launch through Uniswap and the trading volume of Uniswap, and they did get fees. I calculated before that they were making somewhere between $3 to $4 million in that first 6 or 7 months of trading, just in fees. So they did make fees because they were almost exclusively the risk. No one else was the risk, right? There was only a few people that were LPs that were not big whale LP. But what I was getting at is on this launch of Pulsechain, you do not have that. It is not the same. There is a potential that because you get the other half of the pair for free, and then you could match that at an equal ratio, that you can generate fee and still be ratcheting up the perceived value of both tokens.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on that theory, and I'll tell you why. I just I totally agree. You get the other side of the pool for free. You get that airdrop to you, but there's nothing to say that other side maintains parity with the original or maintains the same value at all, goes up or down. So you still got that impermanent loss scenario there because you've got something of value, although you get given the opposite side of it. There's no guarantee that they're going to move in the same price. So I still think impermanent loss exists there. But what I took from
my pushback to that is there's no destruction of wealth. There is none. There's simply transfer of wealth, and it can transfer from one coin to the other coin in that seesaw teeter totter AMM pair. And
you don't have to provide two sides of the liquidity pools, though, do you? You can do one side of liquidity providing.
Not initially. I don't think we'll be able to.
Oh right, because back to the version 2 then.
It depends how much. It depends how much Uni supports the Pulse chain.
Yeah, so there's also some ideas about V3 because of the license restriction of Uniswap, but because Richard commented specifically about that, but the fork may not be the Uniswap fork. It may be the Pancake Swap AMM, and their code is written in a different code than Solidity. So there is some potential for a V3.
Oh, they can do one-sided liquidity in the Pancake, can they?
Yeah.
Is that true? They're running V2.
That's a speculation. The speculation is that the code is different, and because it is different, it is possible.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not the full bottle on what I thought they were running V2. I'm not the full bottle, so I won't comment.
What about this thing if the price just keeps doubling every 47, 48 days?
It's like we're going to have,
that's a different story.
Have the best 3 horses in the race, and it's just
you want to double. You always have to double the community. You have to double either the commitment from the small community, or you have to double the community size at small commitment.
But the maths. What about the mathematics?
It's all about marketing now.
But if isn't log 2 algorithm a mathematical formula? So the price has to follow the T-share, and the T-share just keeps going up.
And
it still depends on community. These are all socially valued things. So it's
social consensus.
The size of the community grows, or the commitment from the same community grows.
That sounds like Ponzi to me.
Before we sort of veer off from the liquidity stuff, because that was actually that's where I sort of left off when you guys were having a chat. You were talking about getting the other side for free, and I don't know whether you guys cover this, because that was what I was explaining a moment ago. Is there's a really good case for Pulse Hex and E-Hex having such a big liquidity base behind them that the price will be tied together. And that is because you've got a lot of people that will be given both of them. So if they wanted to provide liquidity, they could. But also there's an entity that could do that willingly without any real risk, holding liquid anyway. So it could, if it's got liquid P-Hex and E-Hex, it could put that into a massive liquidity pool for that pair, and that would stabilize the price or bind the price between the two assets across the chains. And I don't know whether you guys had a little chat about that or not, or whether you've thought about that.
It depends on your exit strategy. If your exit strategy is, I'm all in on staking, I'm all wrunged out, I don't hold anything whatsoever liquid, all new funds from other resources or other business enterprises go into a staking mechanism, then you're going to generate yield on, as far as interest on those stakes. We already all know those things. And a lot of people have held liquid even during this pre-Pulse launch era of the past month or 2 months or 3 months or however long, because they don't know. They're like, I will stay liquid because I don't know. Am I migrating over? Maybe I'm going to be locked into one side of a network and I want to move over. I want to have buying power to buy into Pulse. I want to have buying power to buy into P-Hex or whatever you want to call it, Hex on Pulse. So there's a lot of people that are actually sitting liquid in some percentage of their portfolio just in case. But you can justify, and again, I'm not saying that this is a good investment strategy. I'm just saying that these are things that need to be considered because the animals never existed before. When you first discover this animal in the wild, you research it and you say, what's its capabilities? What's its weaknesses and strengths? And you do a little battle in ecology, in an ecosystem and say, which one's going to be the fittest for the environment. Everything is about fitness for the environment, you know, evolutionary wise. So it's a different environment than it was 2017. The centralized exchanges dominated in 2017. The AMM or the decentralized exchanges dominate in this era. And the pairing of reward for being a liquidity provider has never occurred before, where you got the other half for free. You had to sell down your stock of what you had in order to be an LP. You had to make risk, and you did create slosh of transfer of value. I'm selling down Ethereum so that I can buy this brand new token that's never been heard of. The whole idea of getting airdropped uni, and the uni for $4 or $5, and then later rising in price. These are all supply constricting kinds of mechanisms. So another thing to consider is, if you have, before it might have been that you didn't want to have a lot of liquidity because that would mean that the price wouldn't rise as quickly because it's selling into that LP. And so to have a small pool with a big buy makes a big price change, right? However, when you have inefficient capital inside of the pool as an AMM liquidity provider, you do have inefficient capital. With V1, V2, you're getting some reward. With the V3, you're getting no reward unless you're in that efficiency window of what's being traded at what price point. So you do have inefficient capital to some degree in V3. However, you are also benefiting the price because you are sequestering, or you always can pull it out at any time, but you are effectively locked up Hex coin supply. You have locked it up to some degree. You can always pull it at any time because it's LP that is not under a contract lock. It's under your own personal choice to lock. But again, it can be another mechanism to constrict supply. So when you see these things play out on charts, most people don't get into the depth of why the light bulb is glowing. They just know that.
Shout out to Retro Static for the super sticker. We got $8.99 in Great Britain pound. Lemon character doing a victory dance with the maracas in his hands. I love it, mate. That's thank you. Discourse Syndicate, thank you. Discourse Syndicate Network, thank you. And by the way, we are streaming worldwide on the Discourse Syndicate Network. And thank you for the slot, and thank you for all the patronage on the channel. We do appreciate all the viewers in the chat and everyone here listening to this conversation. Great conversation, by the way, guys. I'm enjoying listening into this stuff because I'm always trying to keep up to date with what's going on and sort of think about.
It kind of turns Hex into a stable coin, doesn't it? like not a pegged coin, not a peg to the US dollar coin, like an actual stable coin. Because if you have massive liquidity depth on the Hex ETH and to the Hex Pulse pair, so that those prices can't really move too much because there's so much liquidity depth in there, then you'll get the Hex Pulse pair that'll be traded, and you get the Hex ETH pair that'll be traded, and you'll have an ETH Pulse will be traded. But the Hex is the kind of central stable of that, isn't it?
It's so good.
So if you combine the across chains, if you combine those prices together on Hex, that's an absolute win. And then people are trading on all the other things, like you say, the ETH and the USDC and whatever, and that allows price to move in US dollar terms, but you're keeping the network bound together. So it's going to be, I'd love to see that happen, and it's never been done before. So
that's that's actually a clippable from Bloobum and Jexxa. That's very clippable. I think that's something that needs to be ruminated a bit longer. That's actually a very, because he did comment in the public thing in Zurich about, of course, wants to have a stable coin, wants to have something, because right now it still has been, people believed in Tether to a degree, and then they were cynical about Tether, about its real pegging. Is it really pegged to $1? And then you find out that a Polish bank can take $600 million and it still holds the peg. You can find out that it's backed by other cryptocurrencies that obviously are volatile, and it still holds the peg. So the bootstrap of a quote unquote stable coin is just based on a meme. You're never going to be able to cash out dollar bill of the Tether holdings from their bank account, right? It's just a meme. It's just a method of meme. And so whether it becomes the E-Hex Hex pair, or whether it becomes a third type of token that gets launched with that same meme and narrative, the peg, what does that really mean, right?
We need a reference point. We need a reference point for all of these currencies and cryptocurrencies and everything in the world. We need a reference point so that we can talk about value comparatively, and that's what the US dollar is. And it's only convenience and social consensus that makes it the US dollar. And
well, again, so you already know this because you guys know the history of fiat. You know the history of endless money printers, and the idea in the past may have been that gold is the peg to the rest of the world's currencies. And then when the petrodollar came onto the scene in the 70s, because of the place I'm in a center of trade for oil, right? And so the relationship between the utility of gold, the utility of salt in the past, why you say salt of the earth, or why you say that man's worth is salt, because salt used to be valued more than gold in the past. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't conquer a different nation if you couldn't keep the food supplied to the army. So salt was the method that you basically could conquer other nations to take their gold if you wanted that. But so salt, being paid a salary, this is because you are worth this amount of salt, not this amount of gold. So there's all of these references about a peg. The peg is salt has utility. Then the peg is gold has all of the elements of a monetary metal. And then the peg is oil moves everything. All of the stonework that you see, all of the labor, all of the supply and product moved here by oil. All of it was created by oil, right? So we live in an oil economy for the past 40 or 50 years at least. So being pegged to that when it was the dollar had high value. And now when you debase that value, if you have that relationship as a peg, oil is just a meme now. Oil is a meme for dollar or for currency. And the new meme in cryptocurrency land is that you can look at code and math as the peg, as the thing to be pegged to. Hex is the most honest, the most transparent product, and now it's on potentially 2 networks.
Absolutely.
And you'd think in the future it's going to be the most sought after and desirable.
Sammy wants to know, how was the big fella? Sammy?
Yeah, hi, Gary. How you going?
He was on Prada shoes, and he's a towering guy.
He's wearing his stuff, hey,
yeah.
So, how are you, Gary? All right.
I'm doing all right. I'm in Dubai right now.
How's Dubai? How's the weather over there?
Warm.
You love the weather. That's your first question all the time.
It's warm.
No,
warm.
how old are you?
You can
And
see
Gary,
the
you get
yacht-
around a bit, mate. Oh,
you can see the yachts
beautiful.
in the background, right?
Yeah,
That's a blue area. Yeah.
that looks really
Jexxa
cool.
now.
You get around a bit, Gary. So you're just
Yeah.
in Europe, and now you're in Dubai. So what's on the agenda? And was it really cool to meet Richard and have dinner with him?
Yeah, it was surprising because I've had access to money in the past, but I've always been a conservative farmer, you know, raised by a single mother budget kind of life in my youth. So the bill was 1,200 euro, whatever that calculates to in dollar. So it was that bill. But I would expect, as a conservative personality, big steak, you know, filled to the brim kind of thing. No, it was a little like marbles worth of food with
The less you get, the more valuable it is.
The more
Yeah,
expensive.
cutlets or something. I was like,
Absolutely less is more.
what is this ridiculous shit, you know? It's crazy.
Wow.
And that was no wine. That was no, you would usually blow a budget out because of wine or something that has some other perceived value. But no, that was just seltzer waters and, but it was a nice place.
And did you go to McDonald's afterwards and chow down?
Do they sell these in Zurich?
Just go
I
eat.
don't know.
I'm hungry.
And I bet you Richard was lovely to speak to. You know, I mean, after being involved in the community so much, and you know, I mean, we've all been following Richard closely for the last couple of years, and it would have been good just to sit down and have a really good chat to him. And he's a really cool guy too. So you're very lucky.
Yeah, he's
Look, it's no secret you've got a crush on him, Sammy, is it?
it's no secret at all.
Oh, he's got a lot of
You don't want to know what he smells like.
We got hot.
You don't know what he smells. She wants to know what he smelled like. She wants to know what his perfume was. That's what her
No,
questions
I'm
are.
not going to ask what he ate or what he smelled like. So, Gary, what are you doing in Dubai? Are you going yachting with all the models?
This is blockchain week here, so I plan to promote Hex, you know, kinds of stuff or whatever while I'm here.
Awesome.
While I was in Kiev, I made friends, pretty close friends with he was born a billionaire. His family's billionaires, and then he's in his 60s, and he's a merger and acquisition guy that basically has founded many banks and many different insurance companies. And he likes Dubai. I had said while I was in Kiev with him that I was going to go to Dubai, and he says, "Oh, I'll tag along. I like hanging out, so I'm gonna spend time with him a lot this next week."
Awesome. And you went and saw Super Hex and a few other Hexicans as well.
Yeah, I have to make sure no one's CGI. Now my suspicion is all these Australians are CGI people too. So I gotta make a trip down to Australia. If they'll let me back out. I don't think you guys can get out of your border. I don't know if they'll let me.
Well, apparently end of this year. End of this year, like December, I think we're going to be the gates are going to open a little bit. So yeah, looking forward to getting over to the US.
I think the passport office is going to get flooded with applications very soon.
Why would you want to leave at the moment? Like, it's best here anyway. So
why would you want to leave?
No, why would you want to leave Australia? Like, come on.
You're
only because you can't.
Paradise.
I can crank up an amplifier really loud out here and blast the shit out of it, and no one will say nothing. There's no one within 20 square miles of where I'm sitting. So there you go.
It's because you guys are so like polite and easy to get along with, and you know, no one.
Yeah.
You got to come and see us, Gary, one day. Come out here.
Don't come to Australia, Gary. Don't come to us. No one come to Australia. That's not a good move.
14 days. 14 days in quarantine if you come to Australia. 14 days.
You don't get
it's 14 days. Is that what it is? No matter what, vaccine, negative test.
No, it's going to change. 7 days at home. You can do 7 days at home when you come in the country. I saw the article and ScoMo said that. So it's going to get better.
ScoMo is our Prime Minister, Gary, and it's going to drop from 14 days to 7. So you're in the clear, mate. 7 days in some hotel somewhere trapped. Awesome.
Only 7 days. I arrive in the country, they won't change the rule on it. Right? They won't go back to 21 days or anything like that. Right?
They could. No, you got to do 7 days. 7 days in a hotel, and the only thing you can eat is $1,400 meals.
Well, they were going to charge you, like, there was going to be a bill. It was going to be, I think, $3,000 a person for that 14 days. You'll have to stay in the hotel, and then they were going to charge you $3,000 per person. So yeah, maybe a different country.
Just in COVID tests, I've already spent about $1,500 doing this trip type stuff just in COVID tests.
Wow.
Only in tests.
Wow. In your own country, you're from Puerto Rico, aren't you, Gary?
Yeah, so Puerto Rico is the U.S. It's just a territory of the U.S. So everybody there is a citizen. Yes, but I'm U.S.
Well, you're massive.
Are you test free?
Hey.
What?
You'd be like,
are you COVID test free?
You're synchronized. So in Puerto Rico, we do. I did the vaccine just because it would be less hassle, but it's still a hassle because even if you're vaccine compliant or something like that, they're still going to test the crap out of you, and they charge. So I think it's a money grab kind of situation or whatever. I don't know. They can print in the United States, but we can't pay for COVID tests unless it's the public doing so. So it's very strange.
True that. In Australia, it's all free. All our tests, because we're citizens, all free, vaccine free, everything.
Yeah. And the same thing when I come into Dubai, it's free. You come to the airport, they test you when you come in as well. So I tested before I left Ukraine, and then I also tested here. But the Ukrainian one was an expense, and then once people land here, it's the second one, but it's no expense.
So,
right, so
this is just from before. So the word salary, does that come from the word salt?
Yeah.
Yes.
You were paid a salary. That was your earnings. You were paid in salt, and then the salt was able to cure your food to last you through the winter.
Oh, wow.
So your salt, when they say a man is worth his salt, that's meaning he's worth the pay he's making, and his pay was salt, not gold. He couldn't do something with gold. He could store value with the narrative and meme of gold, but he could actually use salt to cure his food and get him through winters, or his family through winters.
Is that in Dubai?
It's the world. The world. That's where places like Kathmandu or things like that, they were the wealthiest in the world because they had salt. In Poland, one of the deepest salt mines exists. Under the Great Lakes in the United States, there's a lot of salt. We use them now for utility because we know where the sources in the world are. And so that salt has lost its perceived value. But in the past, you only discovered it. And when you discovered it, it was wealth.
Cool.
So
that's what
you got to spend a fair bit of time with Richard. Is there any little insights or perlers that you think you can share?
Any secrets? We won't tell everyone, mate.
If you're thinking about a fast upload or download, you think about the bit rate. How fast are you getting data? And it comes very quickly. He actually measures out when he's doing a stream and everyone sees things. He's actually pacing himself so that the audience could digest most of it. But he still gets, he's a fast process, fast logic, and philosophy commentator. So in person, he's the same as on stream, but a little bit quicker, I think. And his personality is as genuine of a person as I can imagine. He's very, he's macho and masculine and all those kinds of things about his character. And I think that he does have things he's already thought about to pull out of reference. Like you'll have a conversation with him, and it is almost like sometimes you can see when it's a genuine new thought or a new analysis, but a lot of times it is what he's already processed, vetted in his own biases, and then he's just referencing and pulling out very quickly. I think he used to be photographic memory. I think now it's a little bit less than photographic, but yeah, you can see all these things play out in the micro expressions of his face, half a foot away, 2 feet away from me. So it's different in person for sure.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
But he's very genuine. I don't think there's anything, his ego is to be the best cryptocurrency instead of just being the dominant in that cryptocurrency. Even though he is the focus point between the stuff he's doing of all the wealth displays and things like that. That's just to get eyeballs, really, because he was wealthy for a long time before he was public. He was wealthy for a long time before he was public. He's only public because it can have the audience growth for the cryptocurrency.
As long as we all get filthy rich too, we'll be all right. I'm okay with that.
You're the richest guy in Queensland, uNrekt Pyro. What are you whinging about, mate?
Oh, look, how dare you say that? No,
I know you are. I know you are.
I'm like a noob pleb. Don't even go there.
Hey Gary, you came at the right time because we were just about to debut something that no one has seen yet. None of the Hex public. Yep. So Jexxa has somehow, I have no idea how, but Jexxa has somehow hacked into the Hex.com test server. He's got a copy of the new website, and we're going to have a look at it for the first time on stream tonight. Is that right, Jexxa? Have you got it ready?
Yeah, just loading it all up.
I haven't oversold it, have I?
Yeah, Dinkum. Is that
right?
No,
so this is a sneak preview so there's Victor, who I think he done a lot of the original Hex.com site, and now he's giving it a whole revamp. And so this is just this is still on the staging server. It's not live anywhere, but he's kind enough to give us permission to give you a little bit of a brief tour of how it looks and what we can expect.
Wow.
And so I've had about half an hour of going over this and checking a few things out, and it's looking pretty good, guys. It's pulled all of the really cool stuff that we've had. It all exists in various places around on Telegram and in YouTube and things like that, but it's been pulled together really nicely here. I still think there's a little bit that needs to be tidied up, but it's the look and the flow of this it's really good. So we'll have a quick wander around, and I'll show you a few things that I noticed and cool things that I like. So we'll go through and we'll just do a quick run through. Obviously, you can connect your wallet there and buy straight away if you already know how, and you've got your MetaMask set up. But it goes through a really nice flow and just takes you through. So these two videos here they're those infomercial type videos that you've probably seen kicking around about what staking is and the power of staking. I won't play those tonight because it usually sends things into turmoil on the stream. But yeah, just really quick explainers of what Hex is. This thing here, this calculate interest. So if you've seen, I think it's hexcalc.net, where you can calculate stake interest into the future. That's what this also allows you to do. So we'll jump across and have a look. So you can select how much you want to stake. So if we want to do a 10,000 Hex stake, we wanted to send it out for 15 years. It would give you a projection of how much you're going to get paid out, and you can leave the current price, or you can roll it out. And there's a bit of FUD on here. It only goes to 100.
Sub-mil FUD.
But yeah, really, like for people that are just hitting the site for the first time and want to get an understanding of what this can do, this is just really simple.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It's nice.
Yeah.
So what I've found and what I've been doing when trying to help people get involved with Hex is I've had to piece together my own Google document and drag all this information together to make it easy for them to navigate. But I think this site does it really, really well. Let me just see how I get back. I think I do a bit of that. Is that right?
And they got a whole scam tab, hey?
Yeah, I'll go through that in a second because that's pretty useful as well. Okay, so we're just rendering. All right, so read more basically jumps us out to how it works. I just love the look and the feel of the site, though. The colors and the graphics on it are all just awesome. Like, this is just nice and clear, and the chart looks really cool.
That's
so
so good.
just
Amazing.
just the theme that they've used. It's just like it's got a nice feel to it. How to get started in 4 steps. So basically takes you through how to do it, but just nice and simple, really well laid out. And then you would have been familiar with all this from the original site, some of the advertising stuff, and some of the more important sites for information. And this doco trailer, if you haven't seen that, go check that out. It's awesome. It's a really good leading
later on.
Sizzle.
That's good. Isn't it
that's really good.
Isn't it great to be in Hex? Or
so we'll jump into. So it goes through, and once these all
financial freedom, that's all.
Yep. So basically, you've got all simple questions that people want to ask, and it literally just a quick pop up that tells you a little bit of info. So I think it's really well organized the way they've done all this.
There's just so much information, isn't there?
Yeah. So I think it does it takes people on a little bit of a journey, which we've never had done really well before. So I think
I'd like to see a chart. It doesn't have to be live chart, but I know that he's always saying, well, if you go to V1 and you can see the very earliest history, if you go to V2, then you can see the history after it moved to V2. Is there anything that's kind of just chart diagram? Is there just any imagery?
So there's this one here. I don't know. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah. That's T share price or the price?
Oh, that's from day one. Yeah, that is from day one.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay.
That's it.
So that is the full price history.
Oh my goodness, that is just magic.
Yep.
So good. Best crypto of all asset classes. Doesn't matter.
Probably be nice.
In the world,
be nice to have a percentage gain on this axis here.
It clearly shows that there's still meat on the bone, but this has got a long way to run. Hey.
Does this pull? It says 673 days. Is it pulling live, or is it just always an image that needs to be updated on the website?
Not sure on that. Not sure. You would think that would be.
I know we're over 1 million X or 1 million%, or we have in the past, unless we had a dip. But it says 48,000.
So we can't see current. It'd be nice if this was a bit more dynamic. That would be good. Any feedback like this is really good because that's what they're after.
My question also is, when you guys think about things, because we've been primed for the past couple of years about the value of a T share, and now the meme is go to B share because it's more relatable and just the word share. Does anyone in this room have a consensus thought about T share versus B share versus just calling it shares? Eventually it'll be shares.
I think,
and you're right. Yep.
Yeah, I think we probably need to move to that, but I think we've got so much branding and everything around T shares at the moment that I think it'd do you more harm now at the moment to move away from it.
It's because
I think we've got to get there.
Complex area to understand in the X game theory.
Yeah. Like we've got memes and all sorts built around T shares. So not that it can't change, but yeah.
Maybe, isn't it, Sammy?
So
those memes.
What's that?
Those memes you've been creating are worth a few T shares. What do you reckon?
You like them, don't you? Huh?
Oh, yeah, I got the old raging bull happening. Don't worry about that.
I know you do.
Hey, Queensland cricket team.
So these are all when people hit you up about all the why Hex is a scam, you can send them here and they can literally sit on any one of these where they've the pyramid scheme, Ponzi, and
beautiful.
They can get all their questions answered in one.
There's all the FUD. Bam.
Yeah, that's all the FUD. Yeah. So I think we probably just need to change this layout a little bit up here because it's. I think it.
I like that. I love it that they go really big bold on the. It's a scam, and then underneath.
Yeah, I think that probably just needs to be a bit more apparent. That's all. But it's doing. Yeah, it's there for a purpose.
I think anyone who's going to hex.com and then clicks on scam and then sees that is going to read the next little line.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Yep. And then we've got all our FAQs from the old sites that just categorized again. So they're all nothing new there, but just all keeping it all in one spot. And then once again, all our other stuff we're used to. So the testimonials. So if you've got a testimonial you want on here, reach out to the developer here and hit him up. but yeah, lots of cool testimonials, which is always, and a lot of
Hey,
hex
there's
collectors
my
as well.
picture.
Sammy got a
Girls on there
My
with Sammy. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, there's Sammy. Yeah,
Look.
there you go. Yeah, I think
privately in direct message, can you send me whoever it is as far as that testimony?
Yeah.
I will generate one for this page.
Yep, we'll do. The calculator, that's what I showed you before.
Nice.
Security, this is
In
good.
regards-
Sorry, Sam, go for it.
Sorry, Jex. I was going to say in regards to the B share scenario, when Richie put out the tweet about changing it, I think billion shares would still sound attractive, if not more attractive than T shares. But I agree, Jex, moving away from T shares is, it's a finished product and that's what it should be,
I think T shares was never a thing. That's something we just invented along the way.
It's still just math, but we've been saying so many times about T-share rate, all the things that Crane puts out, T-share.
Yeah.
And T-share is like what, $11,000 now or something?
Yeah.
Well, it's unattainable for the average Joe. I mean, a lot of average Joes that can do very well in Hex, like, everyone else has done,
But, I mean, people buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, so there's nothing wrong with working in Decentralized.
And remember, you only need a third of a T-share to make it a T-share.
That's right, yeah.
That's it.
But it's still a B share.
And calling it a B share is just going to make it more expensive compared to the T share. Like you need more B shares to make the T share.
Well, it's interesting because I've never heard of a T share in Google or Amazon or anything else that's relatable in the finance space when they think about shares. When you hear the word share, even as the founder of a company, you may say, we're going to have 100 million shares as the, and as just one of us, right, as the founder. And then you're going to always be diluted from that point forward. So you can set how many shares you have, and then later you have things like stock splits that you increase the number of shares versus this way, which we've always promoted, T share, B share, share. And we're going the opposite direction as far as just the nomenclature and wording. And, share, I have a share of stock. I have a share of Google, but I don't have a T share of any of those things. So it's just wording.
And I think that's right. I think as a community, we probably just need to start bringing that into the lexicon, and rather than T shares or B shares, we just start talking about shares in general. And then I think over time that will.
Hey, one share is a heart, is it not?
No, 100 million hearts are in one hex, and a share is a percentage of the stake.
I thought one share was a heart. So what's the definition of a heart?
A heart is 1/100 millionth of a hex. It's the same as a Bitcoin.
It's the smallest unit of a hex, is it?
Yes.
Right.
So we'll quickly finish this off and then we can get back to a brief thing on security.
This thing, I own less than 1,000 of crypto. Yeah, so
this is talking about different security levels. So if you want to keep your hex safe, what should you do? If I'm only going to handle no more than $10,000, well then, more than $10,000, you might take this approach with a hardware wallet. Just general practices, and then it's saying, okay, if you only doing a small amount, you can get away with just MetaMask. If you want to do more than $1 million, you might want to look at something like Gnosis Safe or something like that. So I think it's just trying to steer people in the right direction. And I think this is obviously needs a little bit of work, and we can fill this out a little bit better. But yeah, it's a good start to have this sort of stuff on the site, I think, because it's a question we get a lot. And actually, what's important is it also tells them how to get to Hex Security, the Telegram chat.
Thanks, Day 43. Day 43 is the anchor man for the show. He's really, you guys, he's the brains trust of this whole operation here, and he's been on the levers all night, and he's got to say goodbye. So good on you, mate. We'll see you next time. Good chatting with you. And,
see you, Day 43.
Thanks, Day 43.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Thanks, Gary. See you later, mate.
Appreciate you, mate. All right, take it easy.
And then, just the links that we've got on the original site as well. So just what I like the way it's all highlighted on the official stuff as well. So
I like the charts and the rankings slide. That's just good.
Yep. So, that's.
When are they talking about releasing this? Is there tweaking, or is there a
well, look, it's looking pretty polished already. So I don't think it would be too far away. But I didn't ask that question. I probably should have. But
Very cool.
So
That's
that
really
is,
cool.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
looking good.
pretty clever. It's looking pretty sharp. Yeah, I think it's got a nice flow and a look and feel to it. So.
A lot of work's gone into this, and like, it's been continually improved on through the whole, from the start. There's always been little improvements being made to this website, and I think it's a testament to how good it is.
I mean, if you look at this compared to the original one, it's changed substantially, and that's been a product of. So there was a particular way the project was launched, and the mechanism or the approach to trying to attract new investors, trying to draw people away from scams. So that site was set up a particular way, for better or for worse. I think it done a lot of good things, but it also caused a few issues. So as the product's grown, so has the marketing around it on the main website as well.
For sure, it looks awesome.
So yeah, good.
Do you reckon P-Hex will have its own website? Will there be two different websites or just the same website for both? Because wouldn't it be hard to explain?
I think it'll be toggles. I think websites, they don't want to dilute their brand. Because if you have a Lamborghini, if you have a Lamborghini, the Lamborghini can perform on one network, one highway, right? Because it's like made like the Autobahn. It's a perfect performance kind of highway for that type of vehicle. And you can drive a Lamborghini also off-road. It might not perform very well, but it's going to drive off-road too, right? So I think of the analogy of an Ethereum is going to have its high expense at the moment of transaction cost, its slowness by comparison to this other Autobahn version that would be Pulse, but it's still a Lamborghini. So I think there's something to be said for the brand staying the same, Hex being expensive in both places because it's still Hex. It's just on different networks, and those advantages of the networks can be highlighted or disadvantages.
You know how that some people have put the little ticker of P-Hex, doing it like a blue and pink. Have you guys seen it? So, it's like the Hex logo, but it's pink and blue because it's on Pulse. Do you think it'll have a different ticker?
To some degree, it's going to be, as far as I think the naming nomenclature that he recently had changed to say Hex is Hex when it's on Pulse, and Link is Link when it's on Pulse, and Die is Die. So, as a community, we can sort of change that narrative. And then the Ethereum Link, the Ethereum Hex, the Ethereum, and they may have some different color gradient kind of way to separate the two, because there will be a pair of E-Hex and Hex. There will be in AMMs, people will make pairs. And so what do you know what you're getting for what you're trading in a pair, right? In a trade. So there will have to be some kind of color difference, and there will be some naming difference. And I think that what he said most recently is E whatever is everything else, and the same brand name as or origin is on Pulsechain, because we can take advantage, whether you think it's hostile or not, but we can take advantage of the fact that there's 4 to 5 years of commentary in Medium, in publishings, in Facebook posts and Instagram posts about Link as an example. And new people discover Link. And when they discover Link, it might be that they discover Pulsechain Link instead of the Ethereum Link. So the reason for the nomenclature changing, instead of it saying P-Hex, E-Hex, or P-Link, E-Link, is so that you can benefit from that previous investment of marketing by millions of other people.
Yeah, it'll come down to social consensus. It'll come down to what the indexing sites do. It'll come down to pretty much what the indexing sites do, hey? And
yeah, so I seen an indexing site. I was just trying to find it then. There was a good example of a way to do it where they have the coin rankings, and then they have another tab for each chain that have got the same coins on the various chains. So I'm not sure whether that's how it'll.
Well, so what are they doing with QuickSwap stuff now?
Yeah, not sure.
Right, a Polygon, yeah. Like there's Polygon Hex at the moment, isn't there? What do they call it?
Hey, can we get BK? Is it BKT Dust Bum to join us? What are we at time? We have to come in up to $1.40. So maybe another 20 minutes if you want to come on for a chat. Or I'll send you the link and we can go for it. How you guys going? I might have a visitor soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So at the moment, Nomics has got Hex, and then in brackets it's got Polygon.
Cool.
So that could be it. Just like Hex, and then in brackets whatever.
Where are you seeing that? That's on Nomics.
I'm just looking at Nomics now. Yeah.
It could be worthwhile to.
Do we have an update
again to come on stream and figure that out? Because he's come on stream before. Sorry.
Do we have an update on Rich's exchange at all? Is he still going through with it?
Yeah, he still has intention for that plan. He talked about that as well in Zurich. Again, he likes to focus and deliver a finished product before moving to the next. But there is a line of stablecoin exchange, a coin aggregating website that's pulling directly from blockchain data. A MetaMask, if not collaboration with MetaMask, then a replacement for MetaMask. So all of these things.
Did he say anything about like the fact that we are probably not going to have a trustless bridge, like a no admin key bridge, at the start because it's so technically difficult to do, and a lot of people are working on these bridges but haven't been able to suss out a no admin key bridge. What's the kind of next best thing? Did he?
An AMM pair, a Pulse.
Yeah, but that can't get you.
That's a bridge too.
But you need some sort of bridge from chain to chain, and otherwise we're going to be in an ecosystem which is not connected to anything, and we're just going to have to hope that centralized exchanges pick up Pulse. So if they don't, we're going to need a bridge to Ethereum. And so if we don't have a no admin key bridge, like there are other bridges. But I'm guessing there are going to be like gradations of how good a security they
welcome.
have.
Hello.
Just check the sound.
Oh, hey.
How
How you
you
going?
going?
Thanks for coming. Welcome to the Hex Late Show.
Thank you. One of the rare occasions when I can catch a live stream, I thought I'll hop on.
Good.
Usually they are late at night for me. I'm in Europe, so never can catch them. My girlfriend is always asleep. It's like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning here. So nice to see you.
Yeah, well,
hello to everyone.
We know that you're, we like reading you, and like you're certainly very knowledgeable. I've seen follow you in the chats and Hex Pro and all over the Hex program and giving out their knowledge, and that's good. So yes, we always appreciate people that come in that have got the experience and expertise in around the Hex crypto and understanding the code and the mathematics side of it. Yeah, definitely.
So you spending a fair bit of time in Pulse chat these days?
Not recently. I've been busy with how can I say, it's not work. I'm organizing car purchase and dealing with transitioning it from Germany to here. So then I had some real life stuff that I had to deal with. I was probably out for like a week or two, but I'm getting back into it. I did some modding today and looked over all the thousands of missed messages.
It's hard to keep up. I got thousands tonight. I can't you can't keep up with Telegram anymore. Which is proving that obviously that's a good thing. That means that the community engagement is there and everyone's getting involved. And it certainly could be a bit of a thankless job going through the chats and cleaning up some of the bits and pieces that go on in Telegram. But let's look at the positive things that are going on there.
We got a dedicated admin team. Like everybody's doing it for fun. We organize with each other. We talk. We collaborate. It's good and fun.
Because Richard asked them to do it. How good is that? The fact that these people believe in Hex and Richard Hart so much that they are willing to give their time to the community. Like hats off to that. Like I've never seen anything like it. A truly decentralized global community like Hex. It's like It's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
It is a phenomenon.
And Richard always mentioning that. Sorry. Richard is always mentioning that this is what makes Hex so great, that we are working together, and he's so thankful. He didn't even expect that this would grow up. Like, he set it up in a way that all the intelligent people, all the people that want to build something, that want to contribute to something that's useful to the world and that's helping others, they're just coming together and just build. They just do out of their own omission.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yep. So good. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, he is freeing up all our time from the messes of normal day life.
That's the thing,
making us rich on the way.
It's like, that's the thing. It's like,
he's leveraging us, basically. It's
like,
great.
What? Yeah. Definitely. Well, it's good to have you on. What are we going to talk about? What were we talking about? What were we going to talk about?
I wanted to ask Gary a question. Did Richard end up finding a bridge with no admin keys, or does anyone else know if he got that?
He spoke about the technical difficulty of it, and obviously since he railed against Matic and the potential of locking up billions of dollars on Matic, that's his number one objective, would be to find one that is possible technically admin free, and at the moment that's not seen. There's a lot of people that are working on it because it's a great narrative, but hasn't been able to find it yet. He's looking for the code.
It doesn't exist. So he thought that atomic swaps would have been the solution, because atomic swaps do exist cross-chain where you can transfer value, but the problem is being online at the same time and having the data to synchronize on both chains. I'm not completely into the subject. I'm not a developer, but the synchronization seems to be the biggest issue. Like, both parties have to be online at the same time, see the data online, and do the transactions live. So doesn't seem to be able to.
I think the issue was the Pulse node operators would willingly do all that, but ETH node operators, you can't control.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. We can't hear you, Pyrate. You're muted.
Well, their incentive should be aligned again because of the duplication of coin. They do. It depends on marketing or at least education, marketing, whatever you want to call it, with the Ethereans.
So I don't know if you caught what we said before, Gary. There was some chatter from a developer in one of the Telegram groups where there was talk of a large team that owns a section, or doesn't have any other competition in the section of crypto, that is getting geared up and ready to build on Pulsechain. Now, it's all speculation at this point in time. I don't know any more than those few throwaway comments. But yeah, it sounds like there's a few big teams that they're turning their attention towards it. So there's a
for sure. I mean, I know of at least 7 or 8 projects that are vetted. At least they've had experience in crypto in the past. They're technology-centric companies. I know at least 7. Again, you got to be careful of 2017 speculation of what the endpoint of value will be. Somebody else does
Gary, you can hold the keys first. We can all give our keys to Gary for the bridge. Get out to DJ Cryptomatic.
I just have to be online all the time. Is that what it is? Just
160 people watching live. Get over onto DJ Cryptomatic's Twitch and have a listen to some of the dope beats he's putting down with the turntables over there. You got to go and have a look at it. It's unreal. It's representing Germany. Good. And a big shout out to DJ Cryptomatic, mate. I love your stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Also, Hex Toys just put out a new one too. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I saw it on Pulsechain or on Instagram when it came back online. And Sai's been super supportive. He's the biggest. He's the largest referral earner inside of Hex. He's a very significant person. He's always been in the background. He develops things from scratch on his own. He has assistance from some, but he's a really good guy. And he's doing a lot right now with Hex. Simon from
Toys.
Hex Toys. Oh, yes, of course.
From UK. Every time I've dealt with him, he's been absolutely lovely to talk to online. Just and always telling me great things. He's doing lots for his family, and he's done so much for Hex, and he's onboarded so many people. He's got that many referrals. He's amazing.
So don't give me a keys, ladies and gentlemen.
So I don't want him to get taken advantage of, and his personality is super considerate. I know that I intervened in PulseChain chat in the past where he was feeling very giving, and he gave away over $200,000 worth of Ethereum so that people could transact Hex.
Wow.
Within 4.5 within like just a short period of time. And then I think the wolves started coming out of the woodwork, and I had to break them there. But after that, also he's donated to like children's hospitals. I mean, the money, when you see him wearing a comparable watch to what Richard wears, he gives away as much as he has kept. So he's very supportive of the Hex community.
The gift is in the giving. The gift is in the giving. It absolutely is.
Maybe he's secret.
For like to heal your fellow man, to actually be able to do something to heal your fellow man is the highest gift. To be able to do something for others, and it's something that you feel inside, and it's a very special thing. A bit like longevity research.
I also just spent. People may not have seen all the content, but I spent 12 days with Steph from the founder of Staker app. Staker app version 2 is not that far off as far as being released, and that's going to be really exciting. He's as genuine and considerate and thoughtful as you would expect from his camera appearances, but one of the best people really to hang out with for sure. Spent a lot of time with Maddie from his therapy background and psychology education. He's a very good person. I like him.
I need him to read my head because I'm a nutcase.
I spent 12 days with these guys and get to know the community better.
You are in our case.
The price game. The Price is Right game. How are we going? Did everyone fill in there?
Price is Right
last week?
Yeah, hey, I'm the Hex Oracle from last week. I was watching in the comments. Thank you.
All right, so we've got to get the link out. So
just one question for Gary about with Staker. Do you think they're going to, with the version 2 of Staker, do you think they'll launch the encapsulated stakes on Staker app with being able to buy shares in those encapsulated stakes?
I think I can't speak accurately, but I know that was part of his conversation with me and with the rest of us too in a public forum about the intention. Also about whether it was this encapsulated is something that other hexagons are working on as well to make it possible to trade encapsulated stakes. But those are usually, again, gateways to larger financial institutions so that they can be long-term stakes, like they're responsible to earn 7% per year for pension funds or for by mandate or so the encapsulated game is a different game than what we're already doing right now with staking our own wallets or our own funds, and we're just using it as a gateway really for legacy finance entrance.
Okay.
Whoa, awesome. Hey, I've got a question while we're waiting to find out I'm the Oracle again. Why do you think that the Hex price is just going sideways so often lately? Is it the gas price holding everyone back?
This is just what happened. This is exactly what Hex happened.
It's only been like 25 days.
It goes sideways. It pumps, it dips, it goes sideways. It pumps, it dips, it goes sideways. It's just doing what it's always done.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Up and to the right.
That's it. Well, look at
we
the
are to the right now.
On that chart where it hurts you. Haters.
And every so often people will have a spend urge and they'll spend some, and then they'll see the price move 30 days or 45 days later, and then they'll realize, oh man, that thing I thought I got a discount because I sold Hex, and now I bought the thing I wanted, property, car, whatever, trip, Hermes bag or whatever.
Like that.
Then they regret the fact that they got a 10% discount to buy it right now when the coin that they sold doubled. Right, and they're like, "Fuck! What did I do? Why did I do that?" So you just see these
could have been driving the Range Rover by now, but I sold it down there and got a Mini instead. But if I just held the coins, I did.
My ROI on the Corvette sale, I sold the Corvette for $43,500 USD. is worth 4.1 million or something like that.
Really? Oh, wow.
You can buy a car and you can say, hey, I've got the Lambo and now I've succeeded. All my friends see that I drive the Lambo, but you will have regret. I think that we're on the precipice of really big things, especially with the synergy of PulseChain, the possibility of being an AMM pair provider, the narrative and meme really entering mainstream legacy players. You know, on one call, maybe 3 weeks ago, I had 6 people, just like this room right here. There's 6 people, and 4 of them were billionaires. So it's a bigger.
How do you know it's not true here?
Yeah, so I meant not crypto. I meant with LinkedIn, with owning of companies, CEO and founders, people that have, you know, reference beyond, above and beyond their private wallet holdings. So you can be a private billionaire for sure inside of crypto, but these are people that have network, and the network, in my opinion, is just very similar to what we talk about with Michael Saylor, we talk about with Elon Musk, or the influence of people that have built companies outside of the crypto space. It's that has not opened fully, and especially hasn't until potentially PulseChain makes it more. Even the people that were inside of this meeting I'm talking about, one of them had made maybe around $200 million in the arbitrage spread between Grayscale and Bitcoin. So hold Bitcoin or hold Grayscale shares. And these are the same pathways of legacy finance into crypto. There's super high potential that that PulseChain flips Ethereum both in narrative and product utility. So
that's a very good point, Gary, and I've heard that talked about very well about talk about where you are in your, I guess, your career or your journey, and the fact that I guess that type, that don't want to categorize, but that level of or that person, the older sort of like established businessman would have the network that they've got of people that they know. It's like, you know, you could ring around and get round up, you know, X amount of dollars anytime. But
and they're
they were legacy finance guys, Gary.
Yeah, and they're also, the one I'm talking about specifically was as a billionaire is very frustrated with Ethereum and the narrative of transaction costs, and Artie is very aware of that because it's part of his portfolio as well. So the meme is the truth also about you know, when you can download an app on your cell phone and it's free and you can play it for free, and then you're going to make a later proposal that it has a cost for that same thing, people resist it. And so the idea that Ethereum was a penny or so to transact was inconsequential in some ways 2 years ago. And even though Ethereum's price has gone from $100 or $150 or whatever it was in 2019 to less than 4,000 or something, that's not the same as a penny going to, you know, I paid a $500 transaction cost the other day on Ethereum.
Let's face it, they screwed the pooch. They should have resolved this during the bear market. Like they had, I know there's a lot they've got to work on to improve, and they obviously didn't see the NFT space and the DeFi space coming in with such volume, I guess. So they'll probably.
Well, I mean, again, you can't give them that much forgiveness. They are a technology company. They are developers.
And they
had like 2 or 3 forks since that time. They could have they didn't even attempt to fix this stuff, you know, really.
They had this kitties. They had this example. This is a 4 or 5 year long ago issue with CryptoKitties, however long it was, right?
Yeah, true.
And that was just one product on it, right? So I can't give them too much slack. When you don't have competition, you are a monopoly, and you lose the motivation to change because you are the monopoly. And Ethereum has become the monopoly of its smart contracts in a vacuum, right? Yeah. And I think that the threat model of PulseChain will improve both ecosystems, because AT&T didn't go away once it became broken up by government regulation, as far as how monopolies broke up in the U.S.
Let's face it, you only need something like OpenSea to move across.
Yeah.
And that would probably alleviate most of Ethereum's problems.
Maybe that's the people he was talking about. Maybe it's OpenSea.
Ooh, yeah.
I can't see nothing.
No. I did.
What
questions did they ask? I didn't even think of that one. I didn't even think of that one. Yeah.
What questions were they asking mainly? What are they focusing on? Because I'm guessing they were not asking about price, right?
Just like vetting anything in a VC world, you know that you're going to lose money on 9 of the things you invest in, and you're going to knock it out of the park with 1 out of the 10, right? So they ask the hard questions about, you know, the financials and the background and the people participating and, you know, community and all the stuff that you want in a product to launch, cult-like following, all the stuff like that. Similar questions that have already been highlighted in Richard's comments in the past.
Did you talk with Steph about it, because he has some insight on the market that nobody else has?
Yeah, so I talked with the same VCs that Steph has talked with. He had meetings.
Okay.
You know, during this time, and I introduced him to some of the VCs too. But yeah,
Cool.
Sounds like a lot of interesting things.
It's not a money issue. You know, if you're asking if money is needed to develop any of these things, Hexicans are very rich people, and they can self-fund. So it really is about network. And it is, again, to speak to someone like Nerd Girl is always making commentary about this tribal world. You know, it's tribal when you set out in the beginning of the conversation and you say that it's tribal and you behave tribally, and that other community behaves tribally, then it's tribal, and it can be negative. But human beings are social animals, and we are naturally gravitate toward tribe regardless. So you're their country, you become patriotic. Well, you know, there's other countries. You speak a certain language, you're tribal because you're speaking one language instead of 1,000.
Yeah,
So
we try to use all exist as well, and it doesn't work.
So we look at cooperative environments, and this has been a cooperative environment to this point.
Well, that goes down to your family unit. You bind together with your family unit. So that's innately how we are. Yeah,
familiar family.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. But the Hexicans are definitely a friendly bunch and a kind bunch. You know, very compassionate about their fellow man, and it's consistent within a lot of people that I've met. And I've met a lot of the new ladies and, you know, other new Hexicans, and they always seem to be lovely. You know,
culture is very important, I think, is what we.
There's a new one that may be on the Ladies of Crypto that was here as well. She was on Big Brother in the past as a contestant, and her name's Catalina. She'll announce herself to you guys before long, but she spent the past 10 days here, and she was more of a Bitcoin commentator in the crypto space, and I think she's full Hexican now. So
we're going to see a wave of celebrities coming onto Hex, hey?
It's interesting.
Yep.
It's all happening. It's all going to be. It's like having the golden ticket to the Willy Wonka factory. Being Hex in it. It's like either of it. Right? There's so much going on.
It's going to be a good Christmas, uNrekt Pyrate. It's going to be a good Christmas, mate.
Well, Christmas.
It's going to be a good Christmas, right?
Come early. Actually, I know someone who bought a new Land Rover today. Not naming names.
Oh, I want to know how you got one. I'm trying to get one.
Well, you order it, and then maybe the factory might spit it out in 7 or 8 months. Yeah.
Nice.
Can we do a quick segue just to do our price guess competition?
Price guess.
So we'll officially call the price.
Please.
Yeah, we'll officially call the price at 41 cents.
Okay.
Everyone's happy with that. So if that's the case,
put
the link in. So we've just put a link into the survey. So if you want to be part of next week's chance to be the Hex Oracle and see if you can guess the price.
And we're playing for glory. That's it.
Playing for glory. Oh yeah, there's nothing. No
you don't get one of these. If you want one of these, it's like you got to know someone.
Okay, so can you put my screen up there, uNrekt?
Sorry. Yes.
So the closest guess, well, bang on guess today was Emma Tarrant.
Emma Tarrant, you're a legend.
The Hex Oracle and uNrekt. Yep. I don't know how you keep doing it, mate, but you were the closest out of all of us on stream again.
Natural, isn't it?
Again.
The cream rises to the top. Hey.
But there's a catch to that. Only you and Sammy voted. Oh no, Day 43 did as well.
See that people who do their own research and homework always come out on top. And
it helps you put an entry in.
That's right.
Hey, guys, you just have to acknowledge this is Emma's second time of being the Oracle.
Is that true?
Is it? Time. Yeah, Emma's been the Oracle before, haven't you, Emma?
In London, and she's been supporting the channel, one of the early coming on to supporting us.
Wow.
And as a viewer, and you know,
thanks, Emma. Congrats.
Always listens to us and supports us as we.
Emma and her husband listen, actually.
Very appreciated. Yep, it is very appreciated. Everyone in the chat, over 160, 70 viewers consistently through our streams every week. Sometimes we get over 200, up to 300, and we seem to get in there. So that's an indicator to me that Hex is doing everything right, and we love having these conversations, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's good to see
the streaming community is only getting bigger as well. I think a new wave of people come through.
Well, the sounds of it, we're going to need a bigger boat, that's for sure.
And a few of the OGs are wanting to come on. I think Dustin's going to take up the challenge, so that'll be good to see him on a few streams. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have. Yeah, that's right.
Got some automobile upgrades. He's rocking pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, it's either cars or guns, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the two.
Cool.
So it'd be good to get those guys on stream and have a bit of.
Well, I saw that you did put him on. You hit him up on Twitter.
We welcome everyone down under, don't we?
We don't. No, we don't discriminate. We just treat everyone with kindness and respect, and that's what we do. And we love to have these conversations. So what else can we ask? That DK Bars Lord, I can't even pronounce it. Can't say
BPK Das Baum. You can just call me either BPK or Baum. That's
BPK.
fine.
Okay.
BPK is fine. Yeah.
I like Das Baum.
The Tree of Knowledge. You've got is that the Tree of Knowledge on your avatar in Telegram?
It is a tree, so it's just a joke. It's a wordplay on my name, because in the German language you have masculine, feminine, and neutral denominator for words. Usually it's der Baum. It's the correct way, but to make it unique, it's Das Baum.
Okay.
And the stuff before that is my old clan tag. I just kept it forever.
Well, Bloobum and Dust Bum can be bum buddies. How's that? Hey?
Buddies.
Good.
Hey, everyone, don't forget to go on the link that's posted in the comments to put your vote in for next week's prize.
Yeah, I posted it again. People were asking for the link again.
Okay.
The form is posted.
And congratulations, Emma. Fantastic. Twice in a row. You're amazing.
There it is.
Does anyone know who D Hexican's talking about? The YouTuber that said they got Hex all wrong and now they're looking at it?
Which YouTuber? What's his name?
Yeah. D Hexican, do you know what the name of the channel was?
It's always nice seeing a bit of someone.
Is that the one that's called him Scammer before? With Litecoin Jesus? Litecoin Jesus friend?
You're saying not modern day modern life dating or whatever he is. No.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, that's another story.
Because he turned around. Like
Yep.
Yeah. I was happy.
Furu salad.
Yeah.
Hey?
He didn't do a public turnaround though, did he?
No.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah, he mentioned it several times on Twitter and in his live streams.
That he had been
wants
wrong.
to be a Hexican now.
Oh, really?
Did he apologize for it yet, Richard, though?
I'm not sure. Maybe he did, but I don't know. I didn't see any apology.
They were, I think. Another guy, if you want something funny, another guy hasn't sort of come through as a Hexican and then started doing YouTubes, but another guy who's really funny is My Life is Awesome.
Oh,
I love that guy. I love that.
He's
He's so
I actually
cool.
want to interview with him. I think he's really cool.
He's awesome. Yeah.
I can't tell if he's real or if it's a character or if it's kind of both.
I think it's a bit of a I think it's a bit of a character, but it's cool anyway. It's good.
He's a Super Bull, isn't he, on Pulse?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, and he asked the
I hope
queens,
that's a character because that's a lot of energy in one person.
You know what? Modern dating life versus that dude would be tete-a-tete.
yeah, my life is
guys.
awesome. I really like his channel. I like his vibe.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, hey,
So
we can kick on till the cows come home. I got all night.
I need to go, actually. I'm going to split out.
I'm only joking. We've got to wind up the stream. We've got over 2 hours. So, yeah.
Have fun in Dubai, Gary.
Great to see you,
It's
Gary.
it's been a treat. I'll check in a few times. I'm here for about 10
Definitely.
days or so I'll check in again.
Lucky
mate.
duck.
Yeah,
Enjoy
good luck
that.
at the same conference. That'd be like go Shula. That's awesome.
Yeah. We'll be dressed in
Appreciate you,
a
mate.
nice outfit with a Hex shirt, so we'll see how it goes.
Good stuff.
Brilliant.
You look
Take
very
send us some
smart.
photos.
Seeing those
Take
shots.
some
there.
photos.
Bye, Gary.
Follow me on Twitter. Later.
Yeah, make sure you follow Funding Jim on
See ya.
Twitter and Funding Jim
man.
on YouTube. And what's his other one? Give
I'm funny. If they just Google Funding Gym, I'm the entire page of Google.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'll be on
nice.
different platforms, but
Yes.
I'm there. Just
It's
find
a
me.
you're a baller, mate. You're high profile. It's good to see. And you know you've got connections, and that's important.
Yeah, total baller.
No, it really is. No,
Actually, I'll talk on my next channel, but I do have to go 1 degree away from Michael Bay. So Michael Bay is also in the Hollywood game a lot, and one of the VCs is connecting me into Hollywood better as far as Hex.
I can't wait to get UFC famous. I want to get UFC famous.
Yeah. Yeah, don't stop digging.
All right,
That's
later,
great.
guys. See ya.
See you, mate.
Good man.
Thanks for jumping on.
Okay.
Yeah, bugger Hollywood. We want UFC.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
that's
No one watches Hollywood anymore.
Back to Biff. That's what I reckon too.
well, they were calling for people that would be able to narrate the doco, and I reckon someone like Dana White or someone like that would be.
Dana White wouldn't do it.
Most people
Well,
want
they would do
Butler.
it. He would- Yeah.
Yeah, man, get Izzy to do it. Israel Adesanya or someone, man. That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah, we'll go.
Change-
Out, we'll lead out the show. We'll close out the show with with what they call it, the sticky reel or the
Sizzle reel.
Sizzle reel. Is that what it is?
Sizzle reel?
Okay, let me see if I
Sticky
can.
reel.
Nice
You might be
to
thinking of
meet
something
you,
else, mate.
Yeah, I'm
Steve.
going to go and get
Nice to
sticky.
meet
That's
you.
for sure.
Oh,
We going?
sorry.
Thanks.
Before we close,
Nice to meet you.
everybody, message Chris, message the creators of the show. Tell them your stories. Tell them what you gathered on information, videos, anything that's worthwhile to be put into the documentary. Give them the material. It helps.
Yeah, where is
Definitely.
there a place where they've got a contact set up?
He's on Telegram.
Is he?
Chris is on Telegram. Yeah, you can just direct message him, or there is
What's
a
his-
contact on their website.
Oh, okay.
Man, the amount of money they've
The
got now,
highest stakes.
they can make it into like an 8-part series.
Yeah. Well,
TV show.
Yeah, I chucked a few dollars in the ring as well, and I think a lot of other people have as well. So
It's up
well
to
funded
like
to go.
$700,000 now or something.
Yeah, it's great, and that's
Grand.
and I know I chucked in Hex as well. So if we get another pump on Hex, is yeah,
Hey,
Hey,
I'll
you
just,
pretty cool.
I'm gonna
It's
do
gonna be
the-
funny to see the price during the beginning and then the
Yeah.
around the
That,
end
that would actually
of
that
the
would be a good thing to
documentation.
have.
Like
that would be a good
every
thing to
5
put in
minutes during the documentation.
Yeah, if you actually showed what was contributed at the beginning of the doco and what it turned into by the end of it, that would probably be pretty impressive as well. Just as a little side note for the doco.
Yeah, to show the chart. Yeah.
Yeah, we've lost our driver, have we?
Oh, uNrekt's guy is like,
He just bailed on us.
I keep talking.
He was about to put a video up or something. Oh, there we go.
He's supposed to see us
I
out.
do adjust by system preferences because I'm using a Mac, so
Okay.
I had to do that, and so now I can play the video hopefully. 'Cause yeah. Sorry,
Hey, thanks for coming on, Dustbalm, Dankeschön, and all your work in the Telegram chats and everything. You've been, I mean, ever since I've been there, you've been a solid contributor, man, and I'm just like really happy to have you in the community. Thanks.
Thank you, too.
This is the opportunity of time. Yes, every scammer in the world is going to tell you something similar, but in this case, you are actually going to have regret.
I mean, you scam Richard Hart. He's got a history of being called the spam master.
There's some weird things going on with his coins.
Making one of the biggest Ponzi schemes that we have ever seen.
Hex coin is 1,000% a scam coin.
People are going to lose money because of you.
Remember all the haters? All the haters that told you that I was a scammer and Hex was a scam? I got bad news for the haters. We're making new all-time highs where everything else is getting wrecked. Price is up 4,000 or 5,000 fold in 600 days.
I've made enough money in the last week that I could buy a house in cash. I would never have to work another day in my life.
I'm here to shill. I want to change the world, and I can only do that if people participate. The only thing that matters in this world is goods and services. Everything else is accounting. And our made-up imaginary internet money is better than the government's made-up imaginary internet money. Both of them are only backed by the shared fiction of the humans believing that they have value.
If Hex is a religion, then Richard is God.
I'm in crypto for glory. I want to have the best cryptocurrency that's ever existed. I want to have the best performing asset that's ever existed.
And so I think of blockchain as like the internet. In the 90s, everyone thought the internet was just for email.
I bought some this morning.
They're imaginary quarters. Like, it's like playing Monopoly.
I put it all in. I went
All in what?
all over house money.
This is a force that is not going to go away. The cryptocurrency is not going away. And at some point, the people that you met that you thought were crazy loon birds, they're going to be in the 1%. And they're going to be the people that own half everything.
Right, I was driving blind there. I hope that worked. Oopsie.
No, you done well, mate. So if that's just a taste of the
Near Florida home
Oopsie,
of Brian
sorry.
Laundrie.
There we go. Oh, that worked. Fantastic, everyone. Good to see us all.
If that's just a taste of what the doco is going to be like, it's going to be a cracker.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait. And we'll see you all. Can't wait to see you all again. Make sure you support all the other channels. We've got KNTX coming up next and Crypto Coffee a little bit after that on the Discourse Syndicate Network. So get some of that and enjoy your week wherever you are in the world. Hope you're in a good place and having a good time and life's good, right? And we'll see you next time.
Thanks. See you.
Next time, guys.
Love yous.